To introduce myself, I am Isabella Castro, a senior at Memorial High School, and today I'm going to be asking my mother a few questions about discrimination in school systems for my Capstone project. So, did you want to start out with telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Lizzie Castro. I am a bilingual education assistant for Spanish-speaking families at Mans Elementary. I am a member of the Eau Claire community, and I have lived here for over 20 years. I have a family that we have, a husband and 4 kids who have gone through the Eau Claire school district.
Okay, so the first question is, did you experience discrimination in school, and how did you navigate it?
When I was younger, I did experience discrimination in school. I think many educators looked at us different. There was one incident where my friend and I were speaking Spanish, and we were punished and were no longer allowed to speak Spanish. If it were to happen again, they said we would be suspended. Having that language barrier was hard to navigate because there was no one to advocate for us. So we just accepted the way it is now. Currently in Eau Claire School District, I do see discrimination. I think we are just looked at differently and have different expectations for people of color or people that speak other language than English. And now the way I navigate it now is I tend to be an advocate for these students. And for myself, where when you're younger, you just kind of accept it and are just quieted. But now I feel more comfortable in speaking up for myself.
For us, your kids, did you see any of that happen, discrimination towards us?
I did see some of that. Especially right away when you guys were enrolled in school, since it was very important for me for my kids to speak Spanish. I saw that when a student of color speaks language that is something other than English, it is kind of looked like at a disadvantage. Whereas if a white student picks up a different language other than English, it's kind of seen like something that would be rewarded. So I did see that right away when I enrolled my kids in school, and obviously they just stood out just on the color of their skin, and I feel like they were always noticed a lot more for whether it be good or bad, but they were just always pointed out for any reason.
Okay, and how specifically have you seen discrimination in the school system at Mans?
For those same reasons, a language barrier, that they are also looked at differently and looked at as a different disadvantage instead of it being rewarded. But and I also see it in just in our data at Mans. Students of color are disciplined more often. And our kids, our whole school district has been, we are disappropriately giving our kids, either disciplining them or giving them, referring them to special ed services based on the color of their skin.
Okay. And then, are people in power at the school board making the right steps to help this issue?
I think they're getting it. There's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of systems that need to be corrected, a lot of policies that need to be changed. There have been a few steps that have been taken. We released an equity statement, which has helped, with the school district just addressing where we lack in equity and what we need to do to change it. I feel like we're taking steps, but there is a lot of work to be done.
What do you think could help with making that a faster process?
There's a lot of things that could help, but I think the human element is the hugest barrier that I see. People are not willing to have those uncomfortable conversations, and when those conversations are not happening, people don't realize the biases that they hold, and it makes it harder. If you don't realize there's a problem, it makes it harder for there to be any change.
Okay. And what are some parts of this issue that seem to not get talked about or resolved?
Well, just having those uncomfortable conversations is people are not ready to accept that they hold some biases and that maybe they are a little racist. They tend to, when they are shown data that represents this, they tend to focus on something other than that and focus on the good parts, how, we are achieving success everywhere else. So I just feel like it's people are not ready to recognize where we have faults.
Okay, and then how could this be improved in the classroom setting?
I think there needs to be some systemic changes in the classroom setting. I think teachers need to be held accountable, and there needs to be data acquired from specific teachers, like how are they disciplining their kids, and then just to be held accountable for how they are doing it, and obviously having a lot more professional development and a lot of resources available to them to prevent them from either discriminating or treating these kids differently.
Okay. And what can be done by individuals for change to happen locally?
I think in the past few years there has been change. There's been the Eau Claire Area School District has implemented an equity committee, which I'm a part of. So all of these individuals have pressured the school board and the superintendent to change, and then the equity statement was released. But and then from there on, now the next school year, we are going to have a equity diversity and inclusion director, which I hope will take things down a different path. But I think people advocating for themselves and people who hold that privilege, holding themselves accountable and giving the people of color a platform so that this doesn't continue to happen.
Okay, thank you. That was all my questions.